This is my first YouTube video ever after 62 years of life. I've been following the presidential races ever since I can remember. The most tedious times have been most definitely since 2016, when this clown of a man wanted to become president and unfortunately was successful. I hear just a few minutes ago, after great deliberation, that Joe Biden has left the race. I can't tell you how much that angers me. And I just have one word for the Democrats, the spineless Democrats that did not support this man and pushed him out. All of you. Obama. I'm just lost for words. Where the hell is he? What the hell is he doing? All the other cronies at the top of the ticket. Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and all the other scaredy cats. Or I'm just lost. I'm just lost for words. But I'm going to repeat what I see. You've just screwed our country. You know, finishing my thoughts for yesterday, there's actually the four individuals that I'm most upset about is Pelosi, Schumer, Jeffries, and of course Obama. There was no reason why Joe Biden couldn't have won this race. He was well ahead in the polls, the real polls, and if not, the sentiment of the American people. There's no way he would have lost. He would have won hands down. But it was the Democrats that actually kowtowed to the donor groups. The donor groups are the ones who don't want Joe Biden in, and the reason why they don't want him in is pretty simple. He promised to end the Trump tax cuts for the rich. And regardless whether they're a Democrat or regardless whether they're Republican, money is money. The Democrats and Republican donors are the two faces of the same coin. These guys all want to save money, and they saw Joe Biden as a threat. They saw him more as progressive, and they felt threatened by that. So they wanted to get him out. It had nothing to do with his age, had nothing to do with any fake polls that they derived, but the message that was banged into Americans' heads, not only by the cowardly Democrats, but also the media as well. They were complicit in order to get this man out, and it is nothing that I thought that democracy should be. I'm extremely disappointed, and we'll look at the Democratic Party in a different light from this point out. I am an independent voter. I typically lean Democratic because I thought their values were ones that were shared by myself as well. But I find out that regardless of whether you have an R or a D next to your name, they're all cut from the same cloth. And these guys kowtow, and they answer to the donor groups. You know the old adage, whoever owns the gold makes the rules, and that is true. That has been the case in the United States and pretty much most countries around the world for eons. Except these guys have been behind the curtain for the longest, but now they feel emboldened to come out and directly influence our elections. We can't let that happen. So as I said, those, the top tier Democrats actually were listening to what these donor groups were saying. They gave them idle threats about pulling their funding or pulling the funding for the campaign, and telling them that, hey, look, if you guys aren't complicit with what we want to do, then we'll go ahead and defund your campaigns as well. When you look at the numbers, none of the raised ballots, as far as the senators or the House of Representatives, were ever in jeopardy. This was all a ploy to get Joe Biden out because they don't like where he's going, and the rich, regardless of which side they go on, the rich stand to lose a lot of money. Now, be careful about Kamala Harris. I like Kamala Harris. But the problem is they're going to come for her too, because she's going to follow Joe Biden's agenda. So the idea is they want to get him out, and they're going to try, I doubt if they'll be successful, they're going to try to get her out as well and replace her with people of their liking that they'll be able to control. So that's something to be aware of. But for the fact that they took out Joe Biden like that, and they used the top tier Democrats who are complicit to do that, to include Obama, which I had the utmost respect for many years. Outside of Obama girl, I think me and my brother at one time were his biggest fans. And, you know, I talk about him all the time as being one of my favorite presidents. But it's not what he said about Joe Biden, it's what he didn't say. It's the fact that he didn't stick up for him when Joe needed it most, and neither did the top tier Democrats. They should have been behind Joe Biden. He could have won this race easily, but they weren't listening to what the voters were saying, and they were listening to what the donor groups were saying as far as the money. So that was the emphasis behind my anger yesterday. And again, I apologize for my profanity. I'm not going to take it back on that particular video, because for me it was warranted, and that was a fresh, gut reaction to what had just transpired. So I will be looking at the Democratic Party very, very closely, and expect to see some shenanigans between now and the convention, because I really don't think that the donor groups want Kamala Harris in, because again, she'll follow Joe Biden's agenda, and that's not going to be good for them. So keep an eye on that. This is my second video that I've done ever on YouTube. So if I'm a little bit rough around the edges, I apologize. Hopefully I'll have more of these. I have a lot to say, and hopefully I can share it with those who might be interested in listening. Thank you.